What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dads Against the Narrative, the podcast where we cut through the noise, challenge the status quo, and talk real talk about life, family, and the world around us. I'm one of your hosts, Nate Feathers. You might know me a little bit better as Dads Don't Babysit on Instagram. I'm here with my co-host, Jack Nofel, straight out of Mexico. We're glad you guys are here with us. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on what we're doing. Don't forget to comment and share it as well so that we can get the word out about what we're doing and get this into the hands and the eyes of more men so that we can wake them up, shake them up, and get them thinking critically about becoming the best men, fathers, and husbands that they can be. Also, we are on Apple Podcasts too. So if you want to head over there and give us a 5-star review, we would truly appreciate it. We thank you guys so much. Jack, what is up, man? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro. In case people out there don't know, me and Nate have the exact same birthday, June 24th.
Yeah.
He's 1 year older than me, so he's
So
old.
I'm old. I'm a
He's
baby.
old, and I'm not. Anyways, dude, life's good. I can't complain. It's not too hot here today. It's nice. We had a great day yesterday, and today is more about relaxing and hanging out with just family.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah,
My
I'm
daughter
happy
here to
about.
tell you happy birthday. Come on
Thank
in. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
you, thank you.
Okay.
Whose birthday is it?
It's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
They're all like making stuff for me. So they're like, you can't see. Go ahead, go. They're like, you can't see what we're doing. They made me like walk from the back to the end of the like. So I was in the backyard, like in the on the back patio, with Meg drinking some coffee and hanging out. And they're like, don't even look in the windows. You can't see. I'm like, so you're just ruining my house. You're just putting stuff up to like destroy the house. I'm gonna take it down later. Thanks.
Dude, older kids has to be so great. Having young ones, I'm just like, I just give me hugs and kisses, dude. That's all dad wants.
Well, dude, it was awesome. I mean, every morning I come down, I make coffee. That's like my wife always says that the Bible tells us, yeah, yeah, I'm on a podcast with my buddy Jack. It's his birthday too. Say happy birthday. Hang on. One more birthday. Oh, off he runs. All right, good. So like my wife says that like Hebrews is the part of the Bible that tells us that the man is supposed to make coffee. So every morning I make coffee. It's her love language. Anyway, so we're out there, but this morning Finn's like, Dad, don't wake up early. I want to make you coffee. I want to make you the coffee. So I did actually sleep in a little bit this morning and I came down the stairs and he's got, dude, there's fucking water everywhere. I was like, bro, like all these, like there's bills sitting on the counter. They're all just soaked. Like there's stuff Meg did last night that is like these calendars she built out so that we're prepping for her, like obviously to have the baby in August. And yeah, he has a birthday. We're prepping for her to have the baby in August. And so she's like, all right, we gotta like plan this out. So she's got like 3 calendars just totally decimated. They're all like, she just wrote it all out. It's all water everywhere. I'm like, bro, did you not see this? I didn't see it. Like, oh my gosh. But anyways, all that to say, he did actually, in fact, make me coffee. It was great, but it was hilarious because I was like, I came down the stairs to water everywhere, and yeah. So having the older kids do stuff for you is it's fun.
So fun. So that sounds like amazing.
So fun. I was like, oh, quarters all spike, fun. That's awesome. I'm like, oh, the floor, all the stuff.
My watch started vibrating at 5:15, my normal alarm when I wake up, and I debated pulling a Nate Feathers and sleeping in, but I didn't. I got the hell up.
Guys,
I'm a real man, and I'm young.
that's
Dude,
so
that's the difference of old man.
yeah. The old man's. I
Anyways,
gotta be honest. I don't even know if I heard my alarm this morning. To be real, that's
I
hilarious.
have I just use my watch so it vibrates and no one
Yeah,
else wakes up around me. 'Cause
that's
you guys are co-sleepers too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people cannot co-sleep with their kids. Like, that's a strange thing for me. Is like when someone's like, "Oh, my kid at 3 weeks old, I put him in another room." Like, what?
Yeah,
What?
dude,
You're
can't
so disconnected as a parent that you putting your kid in a fucking another room that's 3 weeks old?
yeah.
What?
I don't even like that. That blows my mind. Or like, and the whole concept of doing that, and then like when they take a nap. And dude, I remember I did this stuff, but like when they took a nap, you try to like offload them so they're not on you. And I'm like, yo, contact sleeping, like that helps them sleep deeper, better. I'm like they're regulated. I was like, what? So now I'm with you, man. I mean, I know that I started out the traditional parenting way,
Same,
and
same.
now I'm like I tell people I'm not fully crunch. I mean, you're in a whole other country. You're absolutely crunchy, but I'm
Hell yeah.
chewy. I'm like more of a chewy granola bar. You know, I'm like halfway there, but like, yeah, I can't understand how you don't sleep, like co-sleep. What's
Yeah.
crazy is we call it co-sleeping. Like the rest of the world just calls it sleeping. Like, oh yeah, we sleep, and my kids sleep with us. That's where they sleep because that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, people just don't realize how far the propaganda has gone and like where it started and the attack on families. And we've talked about this on many shows, but it's like they
Yeah,
just don't realize every single part of parenting has been attacked.
yeah,
Every single part,
yeah.
from sleeping to vaccines to what they eat to daycare and like they were separating the family as much as they could as fast as they could, and
Oh,
people fell for it. It's like, oh, does make it easier for me, just like the boomers accepted microwaves and all the shit that's fucking poison also. And it's like, I haven't used a microwave in a decade. I live totally fine without a microwave, and guess what, I'm not just destroying my food and nutrients and putting fucking radiation out into my fucking kid's brain. So it's
dude.
like there's just so many attacks, and it's like you look at that, and it's unbelievable. And I know we were talking before the show about like look at the guy who went in the bathroom with his daughters. If you
Yeah.
guys aren't tracking this whole situation, I don't know where this was. Do you know where it was? I
I don't
know.
know. I don't remember where it was. I know, obviously. I mean, I know you'll bring it up if I don't. But the boomer guy that called the cops on him was like you need to get out now. Like, oh, jeez.
I mean, he was overbearing. It was like, dude, what are you doing? And I think that kid, well, I mean, the young man who was a father, I was as I watched the whole thing unfold, and he's picking up his daughters, putting them on the sink, washing their hands.
Hmm.
Oh, he's just taking his time. That kid handled it really well, actually.
I
I
mean,
mean,
impressive.
really fucking well.
Yeah,
'Cause
impressively.
I would have got to the point where he would have got punched in the face. Then I'm probably going to jail or
Yeah,
some shit. But that lady, also, I think maybe the superintendent or whoever that lady was, she really helped the situation. She's like, I'm sorry about him. And like after she closed the door and she really got to speak her truth, it
yeah,
was like, I'm sorry. Like there's just so many assholes out there in the world, and they don't care about your kids. And
yeah,
the crazy part is like in America, you see that constantly. Down
dude.
in Mexico, you won't see that. Down here, that's like it just doesn't happen. I mean, it does happen, but such rarity.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I know Kyle Carnahan, we talked about, I think on the last show, he moved down to El Salvador, and he
yeah,
just talked about this on his story yesterday, on how he's like, dude, my kids are treated so much better. Of course, his kids are older too.
right.
Imagine if he had young kids under 10. Well, he has one daughter that's like 6.
Yeah,
And the rest of his kids are like 13, 15, 17, 21. And
yeah.
he has a huge family.
21 go with him?
Huh?
Did the 21-year-old go with them too?
Yeah, they all
Yeah,
went with him. They all went, bro. The whole family went to El Salvador, and he just talks about like how they're treated so well, and there's so much. He's like, there's this bit of safety that just like released when I got here. He's like,
yeah,
the first day I was kind of still had my defense up, like I was in America, and then he's like, I realized how nice they are and how they're
yeah.
speaking to my kids, how they respect the family, and he's
Dude.
like, now that feeling, I've never had that feeling just gone, and he's like,
Yeah,
it's gone. Like we're safe. We're safe. And imagine that. Imagine a family that's like, and I remember people calling me the all-American kid. They're like, dude, and I did fucking retired out of the military. Like I loved America.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love the whole idea of America. I love it. And most of my friends are in America.
Mm.
But the thing is it was a lie. The freedom, the every fucking thing was a lie. And then when I moved to Mexico, it wasn't Costa Rica right away because I was still trying to figure out my life. But when I moved to
Yeah.
Mexico, I was that same sense of relief of just like, so I'm watching his story, reliving like my experience 2.5 years ago, where I'm like, yeah, bro, I remember that first deep breath where you're just like, wow, I can breathe. And now I tell you all the time, like my kids run everywhere. People watch out for them. There's playgrounds in almost every restaurant so they can go and just play. And they have like, um, not baby, like a babysitter. I don't know what they call
Sure.
them here. I forgot the name, but yeah, it's a different feeling than being American. Then we went to America once in the last 2.5 years, and right away we're fucking tense. Me
Oh,
and
dude.
Simone both. I mean, the cops, the way they were fucking driving behind us because we don't use car seats. And in the States, you have to use a car seat because in Mexico, it's up to the parents' discretion, and most parents don't have the ability to just buy car seats, right? That's
Yeah,
majority. And of
yeah,
course, in Mexico City, you car seats are more prominent, but here in like where we were in Puerto Morelos, which is more of a poor town, no one uses it. Matter of fact, you're going to see a motorcycle with the whole damn family on it.
Yep.
It's very common. It's
Yep.
very common. So
Yep.
it's weird, like how you can have all this safety and this feeling that you can breathe with, but at the same time, you have the ability to decide safety for your family.
Yeah, I dig that. You know, it's interesting you say that because I just watched this thing and I think I sent it to Meg because it was this guy who was talking about how he and his wife were trying to find a place to go on vacation, to a place where like that was kid friendly. And so, and they don't mean like Disney World where it was like that because that's just insane. And I watched this other one that was talking about like all these mad trips to like Tokyo, all these places, and the guy was like comparing them to Disney World, and he was like, yeah, all of these are cheaper than taking your kids to Disney World for a week. And I'm assuming he's talking about taking two kids. So me taking my family, you know, with the 800 of us, it would be like it's like a whole life of payments that I would be making, but that said, he was looking and he's like, we found Portugal. So they went to Portugal and he's like, dude, it's the craziest thing to not only see that he's like, you're in the grocery store and people will have like their food and they'll be in line to check out and they'll see you. And he's like, it's like an unwritten rule. They're like, oh, you have kids, go ahead. That like kids don't need to sit here and wait in line, which I keep going back and forth. I'm not going back and forth on it. I'm like, that's awesome. When the culture is like, yeah, kids are kids, let them be kids, but they're gonna not want to stand in line and have to wait. So yeah, go ahead. What a great way to teach patience to people who are older, right? Like what a great way for people to go, oh yeah, there's patience. Those kids get to learn patience by being taught. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead of me because you have little ones, right? And he's like, we went to restaurants and in America, you're like, oh, please don't be loud, don't be screaming and all that. He's like, dude, we went to a restaurant and the waiter was like, well, you want to see how we do things in the back? And like took the kids to the back and like walked them around and showed them stuff. They're like, we're eating and the kids are going all around like learning about the restaurant. He's like, they just brought him around. And it made me think of when Zeke was born. He was born in Costa Rica, and then we flew to Guatemala to translate for a medical team there. And we went to a church. And okay, so we're in the mountains of Guatemala. I was telling you this last conversation we talked about the Sutuhil language, and it was like translating and then translating through the translator. Um, so we go to this church, and I'm sitting there with a extremely, I mean, I'm white. I don't even tan. I burn, I peel, and I'm white again. There's no melanin in my skin whatsoever, it feels like. So I have a very white baby with blue eyes. And they were like, it's like a sea of like brown sugar is what we got in there, right? So like we got brown sugar looking all over and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this little white baby. Some lady comes up to me, she's like, can I hold him? I'm like, yeah, sure. Which is weird, but I felt safe and felt fine, right? No joke. I look back. He's not in her arms anymore. He's been passed down the aisle all around the church. That kid made one little whimper while the guy was preaching, and all of a sudden there was a person right here, and they're like, here's your baby. Like one little whimper and brought him right back to me. But like they all were holding the white baby. It was hilarious when I look back on it. But part of me thinks, oh man, I would never do that here. Like I would never do that here. And then I wonder if I was like, no, I mean, it's just like crazy and allowing that. But at the same time, I didn't feel unsafe with people, holding the little guy and watching him and all that stuff. And as soon as he whimpered, they were like, whoa, here he is. Your dad, take care of him. It's
Dude,
crazy,
Latin America knows what's up. I mean,
dude.
I think I've told you the story before when Rowan was born, and we were used to because Destin, our first was in Seattle, and COVID, so it's like really fucking tight. And then he was born, and Abuela would come up in any restaurant and be like, "Dame, dame," right? And he was blue eyes, blonde hair, which he's still blonde hair. They all call him
Yeah, yeah.
Chino. He's Chino, right? The curls and or Chinito, and they all like same thing. They would walk around, bounce him. I mean, he was literally like 6 months old, and everyone was taking care of him in the restaurant. No
Yeah.
one, no families, like when he's crying, or even when my other son was like upset, no one looks back at your table and like thinks it's weird.
Yeah.
So like both the things you're talking about all happened exact all the time when we lived in the Quintana Roo, and we were in Cancun, and I mean like this abuela was just, and we'd go back to that restaurant because she would always take care of him, and she loved it. She was a dude. She was a kitchen staff person. They would let her stop working, come out, grab the baby, and let us eat.
Yeah.
What the
That is,
fuck?
dude. I like where did we go in where did we go in the United States that we went so wrong that kids are annoying, they're in the way, they're the problem. Like that is huge. That is a huge issue. And like to a level where, I mean, people in their 20s and 30s are like, yeah, I don't want to have kids. You know what I mean? Like they're literally not wanting kids. And okay, I have sixth and seventh ones going to be here in August, but or hopefully it's not. Hopefully it doesn't come too early. But I mean, I'm like crazy. They're like, yeah, you know how that happens, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to stop. You know, like that kind of stuff. It it's also like having a big family and having kids. People are like, why in the world would you want to do that? And I'm sitting here going, why in the world wouldn't you? Like, yeah, it's chaos. We just said that my kids are destroying my house right now, but it's also they can put happy birthday dad and streamers and all that stuff. So in the midst of me being like, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to take care of all that. And they do. They break your shit. They dump water everywhere. It's man, I still get frustrated with it. But when did we all of a sudden switch from society where like even the scripture says that children are a gift from the Lord? And we switch that to like they're a nuisance, they're a problem, they're the reason that you don't get to have the life, like they take you away from the life that you really wanted to live. What in the world did we do? Like why?
You want my opinion on this?
Yeah, dude, I'm all for it. It's crazy that
Here's what I
you look
think.
around the
I
world
think,
and it's not like that in I would say non-Western countries, like when
yeah.
it's the westernized countries.
No, babies are first, and old people are first.
Yeah, yeah,
They get, and that's the thing in America too. Look at how they attack old people. Like, oh, they're just old, they're ready to die. Like move on with your life. Like what? There might be some wisdom there. I'm not saying all old people are wise, because
no,
I learned a long time ago that's not true. If you haven't challenged yourself, you haven't moved from anywhere, and you haven't like explored the world, there's not a lot of wisdom coming out of you. Sorry, but that's just the truth. But with the kids and all of this, I think it's when the Rockefellers came in and they started this new institution, the Rockefeller effect.
hmm,
Dude, what did you have next? You had the golden era. That's the people who are what 80 to 100 right now, the golden era, and then you had the boomers following them, right? So it's like, what the fuck happened here?
yeah,
You two generations had the best years, and you thought like this is great, but how did they raise their kids? It was like dad's beating them with a heavy hand.
hmm,
Dad can be drunk. Dad gets to do whatever he wants. Mom's a stay-at-home mom. And they kind of poisoned that whole thing. Like this is what stay-at-home mom was getting. She wasn't allowed to vote. She wasn't allowed to speak. That wasn't true either. Like that's all
yeah,
propaganda and people fell for it. Just like women's rights was started by the same fucking little country we can't talk about. Like all this was started by the same country we can't talk about. So it's like they were playing the long game, knowing that it would lead to more control and more power. And we're seeing that now. And now everyone's like woken up to be like, oh yeah, it's that little country in the Middle East that we're not allowed to talk about. That wasn't a country until the
people,
Rothschilds decided to make it a country.
yeah,
And like, what the fuck? So I just think they played the long game and no one saw the long game because the golden era was living it up and then the boomers were living it up. And those were the sweet days. And they thought that was okay. Smacking kids, smacking dogs, beating up the things that can't fight back.
yeah, dude,
And now we get to the point where it's like the Gen X people, like, or me and you, we're like the Xennials, we're like the end of
mhm,
Gen X and the beginning of millennial.
yeah,
And people, like, our era woke up and we're like, dude, hold the fucking front door.
mhm,
Hold the front door. Maybe this is all a lie.
yeah,
We're not believing this. And a lot of us grew up with moms. Like I grew up with a boomer mom who was like, don't trust the government. Everything's a fucking lie. Right. So
mhm,
I was already a skeptic from the fucking day one, basically. So are my kids. And
yeah,
it's like, no, this is wrong, dude. Why are we hitting dogs? And I remember my first dog I got, I'm like, this is normal. And then I remember one day I'm like, why the fuck am I hitting this puppy? That's
yeah,
ridiculous. Why aren't I teaching the puppy?
yeah,
And the same thing with kids. Like people are like, "Oh, you need to go." I saw a post that you posted. It was like, "No,
yeah,
Scripture says," and this guy's justifying how we should beat the shit out of our kids, basically. And because if you're hitting your kids at all, to me, that's abuse. Period. Because you need to regulate yourself. Kids are a mirror. They're showing you what the fuck's wrong with you and where you need to improve. And if you
yeah,
are a lazy fuck and you choose not to improve there, well, guess what? Then you're just going to continue kicking the can down the road and you're not going to be the one who changes generational patterns. So
yeah,
I'm not that person. I'm not lazy at all. Matter of fact, I want to change and I want to be a better human and I want to continuously learn till I die. And it's
Yeah.
weird that people aren't like that. That's that people are okay with living the same 6 months over and over and over and over without improving. And then
Yeah.
these motherfuckers are just like, hit your kids. They need a. And I'm not saying there's not some bad kids out there, but that comes from bad parenting. And maybe it gets to a point where maybe that kid needs to be knocked out by another kid or something. I don't know. But that was because you were lazy and a piece of shit. So that's why, because I've never had to hit my kids. And my kids are fucking disciplined as shit and square the fuck away. And anyone who's met them is like, wow, yeah, I never had to hit them.
Dude,
Because
when
I
you
lead, I'm a leader of my family. I lead with discipline, integrity, and honor.
yeah.
And I never had to ever, not even think about it. Not once. Like, not once was I like, I need to hit him. No, because I had to regulate myself. Why am I getting pissed off? Okay, he's showing me something about me.
Yeah.
And now I got so many years in, and I've worked on myself so much that people are like, dude, you're a really fucking good dad. Well, I worked on myself. I
You
wasn't.
got you got to work at your on your. I think that's the whole. You're spot on. Dude, I posted that, and then I think you do too. But I come from a biblical background. I grew up in a pastor's house. I went to school for that. I studied. I actually stayed an extra year to do more biblical studies. And so, like, but then after I graduated, I fell in love with the study of like the time and the era and the people of that time, like learning. And so I know you were a history major. You're probably like you're the same. I feel like the same person at times, but it's like I loved learning what did that mean to the people that of that time, right? And so understanding culture, historical background. So that guy, that one you're talking about, I'm totally with you on it because I like one. Did you see that dude's Bible? Like, holy shit! You keep one of those in your truck and the house and I mean, like, I got it on my phone. Why don't you just look, I can just scroll to I can actually type it in and get it. I don't understand. When he pulled that out, I was like, what in the world are we doing? Like, damn, that's the Bible that sat at the front of the church when I was a kid. Like, that was like, dude, right? Maybe it was for effect. I don't know, but I was like, damn. However, like, we're now using the Bible to tell people to like hit their kids. And dude, the comments are hilarious. I had one guy that was in there that was like, yeah, all the comments disagree with you. And I'm like, well, disagree all you want. How many kids are you hitting? And one guy was like, so how many kids are you hitting? And he's like, a three. I'm like, you just said you hit all three of your kids. Like, are you serious? I used to be that guy and it didn't do any good. And all it did was show how dysregulated I was. One guy was like, oh, well, you can do that in love and not anger. I'm like, so wait, let me get this straight. You, who else do you hit that you love? Just tell me who else you love that you hit. Or is it just the little ones that can't fight back? What are we doing? What in the hell are we doing? And
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's mostly guys. And that's the hard part here is that, and it doesn't make me re-question it, but it's guys that are like, no, that's the right way. And there is, I think, I want your take on this because in my instincts are like, at some point, if you're gonna be like, if you're gonna be an asshole, at some point, someone in the world is gonna punch you in the mouth, right? And so I'm kind of like, well, yeah, if like you said it, if they're a bad kid, like because someone was like, bad kids need to be hit or however they put it, and I was like, I'd be questioning why they're a bad kid. Like, what kind of leadership are you giving them? That kind of stuff, right? But at some, yeah, you get kids that are just, you know, they're kind of like donkeys, right? They're just an ass, and so they're constantly pushing. But at some point, whether it's at 10 or 11 or whatever, they're gonna get into a place where they do something, and someone is going to pop them in the mouth. Now, I don't think it has to get there, but life will do that for them unless we lead and teach them. And I guess I'm sitting here going, like, we're literally trying to use the Bible to justify hitting children. And I'm pretty sure we could definitely be more creative on this. And I don't really think the Bible is teaching that either. Like that's my biggest issue is that
No.
I'm like, I even used it. Some guy was in there fighting with me on it, and I'm like, hey man, he wanted context. I gave you cultural historical context. I used not only other Bible verses, but I also used the language they're using. I'm like, when the guy's talking about a mace, so you should strike a killing blow on your child with a mace. Like that's what we should like. You don't find that poetic? I feel like that's more poetic than anything else. It was
Well,
crazy.
bro, I mean, I think a lot of people, and this is the problem with the world. It's like just being split like with the red and left and right and all this shit, right? And what's the Bible about or any of the fucking religions? It's an energy of love. All of them are love energy. They come from a source of love. First, first and foremost, love.
Yeah.
And God is within, Christ consciousness is real. All right, we can most people agree on that. It's a love energy. How the fuck is hitting a kid a love energy? Tell me
Dude.
that. Tell me in your mind, because what's going on in your mind is red flares is going on in your body. So that's your body shooting up and saying, I'm frustrated right now. Well, where are you frustrated? You're frustrated most likely for men. It's going to be their chest, their neck, shoulders,
Mm.
and arms. And they want to make a fist. And what do
Yeah.
they do? Boom, smack their kid.
Yep.
Because they're not regulated, they take no time for a reactionary pause.
That's
So
right.
instead, they're just like react instead of take a step back, take a breath, and say, what's really going on here?
Oh yeah.
Is he acting out because he needs my attention? A lot of times kids act out because they want our attention. All right,
Yeah.
man, can I give him love right now? All right, the Bible says to start with love. What the fuck? If you start with love, guess what's going to happen? You're going to calm your kid down. Well, where is love? Love is right here in the chest. You're going to put skin to skin, as you were talking about earlier, if you can, right? But a lot of dads are fat and overweight. They don't even want to take their shirts off by anybody. And,
Mm.
or what else is love? Nature. Take them outside. Me and you've talked about that before, how like that's just a calming effect when we take these little ones outside. Um, and it all starts with love. So there's no way that you can use a scripture period against me, because I'm going to come back with that same argument that love is our first energy from all religions. And I'm not religious at all. And I believe the Bible is very manipulated. I think there's a lot of real shit in there, and that's true, and great stories. I mean, my son loves it. But we have to take it with critical thinking and discernment, because the English version is written by King James, who was one of the most evil motherfuckers there was. And he wanted to manipulate everything. So why wouldn't he just throw in different things that maybe, he turned water to wine. We shall be drunks. What the fuck's that mean, dude? Like, come on. I don't know if that's what he was saying. Like, I think there's something more here going on. Like there's just like, and why did he remove uh, Mary Magdalene and the other books, right? It's like there's so many books that are missing, and he chose and picked, and it was very manipulated. So, all right, Bible has a lot of great stories, and a lot of it's true, but it always starts with love. So
Yeah.
let's start there first. And if you can't handle your kids with love, then you're not being a parent,
Well,
because
what's been
they're
interesting
children.
about yeah, and what's been interesting about that is, dude, my 2-year-old, bro, he's off the chain. Like when he gets hurt, he's fucking pissed. It's not just pain. I mean, he's mad. And there's a question as to how long he's gonna be mad. But he's also 2, right? I mean, he wants you to hold him, he doesn't want you to hold him. He wants you to do this. He does like it's an insane, crazy time. And you know what, dude, we've talked about it before. Like we literally like I've taken him outside. I've done I've basically had him stand in the grass, and then he didn't want to stand in the grass. So I held him, but I stood in the grass trying to let that like I'm like touch grass. Maybe I should just touch some grass kind of thing. But it's like he'll not want me to hold him. He'll freak out on me if I let him down. It's crazy. Look at this. My wife's like, open this jar. I'm like, it doesn't want to open. I don't understand.
He's 46 today, folks. He can't open jars anymore. Give it
Yeah,
to Z.
it's
Give
just
it to Z.
going. It's
Give it
just
to your 21-year-old.
it's just turning. I don't know what's going on. The jar is messed up. I blame the jar. I've turned it 50 times.
Oh shit! But no, I mean that's the truth. You know what? I always tell a lot of dads that come up to me and ask like how I parent. I'm like, you have to always remember in the back of your head, those first 7 years is them going from energy source to body source. This
Yeah.
is our years. The foundational years are their consciousness connecting to body. So
Yes.
of course they're gonna fucking be erratic, and they're gonna be erratic, right? Is that the
Erratic.
word?
Yeah, erratic. Erotic wouldn't be the one you want.
Erotic is not the word.
No, that's not the word for
I'm like, hold on, that's not right. Uh, but no, they are. They're just a fucking roller coaster ride. I mean, my son, it's like you ever see there's videos online where it's like moms are like the kids like I want this, and then they're like fine, you can have it, and then the kid they give it to them and they're like ah! They flip out, even though
Yeah.
they're running it. Like that's reality.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the ones regulated so we can help teach them in these years of consciousness connection how
Hmm.
to regulate. Because when
Yeah.
they hit 7, guess what's going to happen? You're going to reap all those benefits. I'm starting to get it now with my 6-year-old. And
Hmm.
people are like, wow, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal because I did the work every fucking day. I never stopped. I never slowed down. I never forgot what my message was, what our meaning was, what our morals are, what our values are, and what God has me doing. God's
Hmm.
work is the bigger work. And people forget that. It's like they go to a Bible, they go to this. No, just know that source is within. Source is telling you, hey, this is, and you know it. People feel that shit. There's no way like people can be all disconnected so much that they can't feel their intuition anymore. You have to know when you're doing something fucked up or lazy that you like, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong, Nate. Maybe people are so disconnected they don't even know it anymore. I don't
I
know.
think I think that there's a way to get there. I think that you quit listening to it or you drown it out with other noise from the world. So I agree that I think it's hard to do that, but there is a point at which people like I mean, obviously there's horribly evil people that don't have that whatever that is. And we know that because they've done horrible things and we're hearing more and more about it. But I think that that's rare. It's a rarity. The like that I mean, the scripture calls it the like the still small voice, and I know that that's God, and it was on a mountain, but at the same time, that's Holy Spirit within, like speaking to you, saying, you know what to do here, like, and I mean, even the scriptures, they're like, well, what do you want us to do, God? And He's like, well, you know what's right to like to love justice or to live justly, love mercy, and to walk humbly before your God is what He says. He's like, but you already know that, and it's like it's inside of you. But dude, I love how you put that I love how you put that. The first 7 years is going from source. Well, how'd you say that? From source energy to body, from source to body.
Yeah.
I love that, and I think that gets missed. I've called that the subconscious window. Like they're fully, you can see it in their eyes. It's amazing. Like, and it's not like all of a sudden their eyes change, but it's not a bad thing. But you can see it. Like when I look at my 2 year old, his eyes are different than my 10 year old, and it's not because my 10 year old's like, oh, now he's bad. No, he now has the conscious side of his brain at work, and so that window's closed. But when you look at the 2 year old, you look like 2, 5, all the way up into 7, you'll see it change. And I call that the conscious window that you have 7 to maybe you get 8 years before that window closes. And now they have the conscious ability to think and process. And they're not all the way there. I know that like your prefrontal cortex isn't finished until like 25, but that first 7 years, I love how you put that, Jack. I've never heard anybody put it that way. And other, I mean, I've said it about the subconscious window, but that idea of going from source energy to like living in a body, that's a no wonder they're erratic. That makes total sense. They're trying to figure out how to handle being inside of this like
Yeah.
this their own body and understanding it. It's amazing.
There's a book by Diamond Walsh. You guys might know him from Conversations with God. But
Mm,
he has a kid series, and the kid series talks about. And I was really, as Nate kind of alluded to, that I grew up very Christian, and I went to school to be a pastor for only 1 year though, and but I really was into it, and I love like Conversations with God. It's because it's you can relate. But at the kids series, you need to hear how he's talking about these kids and like how we're all spirits, we're all perfect. And you need to learn how to, take that perfectness into the body. And I didn't read this book until the last like a month ago. Someone bought it for my son. I was like, oh, I haven't heard this guy's name in forever. In the book, I look and they came out in '98. I'm like, oh, of course it did. Neil Diamond Walsh is old as shit. And so it's like getting a Billy Graham book now. Like Billy
right.
Graham's been dead. I saw
Yeah.
Billy Graham in 1996, bro. Like,
Yeah. Like,
I mean, crazy. And it's just he gives us like the same lesson that I'm kind of saying, but through his story of like we're all perfect flames. We are all perfect. So if you're by all perfect people, there's like the one flame that's like, oh yeah, but I want to feel different. I want to feel what it's like to be this, and I want to feel what it's like to be forgiving. And he's like, well, I'm gonna have to put you in bad situations so you
mm,
can be forgiving. But remember who you are. You
mhm,
are perfect. And then it's like, dude, it gives me chills just saying it because when you read the story, you're like, fuck, dude.
mhm,
These guys are perfect. It's our job to continue those first 7 years and give them that strength, the foundation, the moral compass. We're their inner voice. So how we speak around them is nice for their fucking consciousness because they're going to say that to themselves. And then
Mm.
remember, we're building identity. The
Yeah.
whole thing's about identity, who they are. If I ask most guys who they are, they're like, I'm a painter, I'm a bricklayer, I'm a soldier. No, you're not. What are you? Who do you stand for? What are you? A man of integrity that's
Mm.
always trying to improve, like self mastery. Who are you? That's why
Yeah.
the identity statements are so important. Like my kids every day say the exact same statement. Hold on, I got my 2-year-old trying to come in here hot. It sounds like Papa, Papa.
That's all right. We
There he
can't hear
is.
him. You can let him in. Yeah, man, I love that. I think that that whole concept of teaching our children, like everything that you're saying is actually, I mean, you could use a bad term if you want. I don't know any other term, so I use this, but like when we talk about brainwashing, it's washing away the old, like whatever was in there, and putting new in. And normally that's associated with bad things, right? Like you brainwash, oh, they've been brainwashed. Well, yeah, but like the whole point is to teach our children who they are, who we are, and how we live in the world. And you do that by like, dude, you've spent the this little dude's whole life figuring, like teaching him who he is. And I mean, I know he's little, so he's got way longer to go. But when you do that, when they step into the world and it doesn't resonate with who they are and they clang against that, you've given them the tools and the strength to like to know, okay, I am this person and I don't need to be changed by the world outside. That is not something that fits inside of who I am, and they're able to push that out. And honestly, I mean, how crazy it always goes back to the fucking Rockefellers. But I feel like if you look at the propaganda and the things that the world pushes in on you, it's trying to make you something that God is telling that you're not. I mean, it definitely, like Romans talks about it. He's like do not be part of this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like there you go, right? And it's renewing of your mind because you've been in this world and you've been told this is who you are. And as fathers, I think this age group, our age group, we're literally trying to revamp ourselves. And then in the like, and it's like on the job training. We're trying to become that person and teach our children who they are so that they're not living through the same shit we're living through. And so I at the same time that I look at all these guys that are like, no, you should totally spank your kids and like totally disagree with some of the stuff and try to utilize scriptures to do that. I'm like, well, you spent your whole life being told that this is the way it is. And it's very difficult when you're taught that over and over. And then you look at the world, it's created a worldview that now you're sitting here going, well, that I don't want that worldview. Or how do I fight that worldview? It's always going to be something that's working against you until you finally renew your mind enough that you're out of that. And what we're doing as fathers is we're trying to create that mindset for them so that they don't have to do what we're doing, you know?
Bro, I do know, and I agree 100%. I mean, that's what blows my mind. It's like when people are still not awake right now and like you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, how are you not? How are you not? And let's take it right back to the babies. Like, why do you think they're born and people are saying God was wrong? Inject them with these fucking shots right away. Like that's a really strange thing. I know we've talked about this many times on that show. Even right to like cutting off the foreskin and like putting them into shock trauma right away,
Mm.
right? Without their parents because someone else is gonna hold them. All right, well, this is a little bit fucking weird. You don't think that's weird? And then they're under all these halogen lights that are fucking horrible for your LED lights. And it's like in a sterilized environment. That's not reality. And my
Mm.
first was born like that. And he got the first day vaccines, 2 vaccines and the eye drop things. And
Yeah.
never again, never went back to a doctor. We learned right there. And he got circumcised. Second baby, born at home with my hands. I was the first to touch him, brought him out, gave him right to mom. And then he
Mm.
stayed on the placenta for 3 fucking days, as you know, the lotus
Yeah.
birth. And It was in our bed, in our natural light. We had no lights on. It was just a natural outdoor light of Cancun area,
Hmm.
and it was something special. Like I look back, I'm like, wow, that was really. It was scary. Yes, it was fucking absolutely scary, but it was also super empowering. And
Hmm.
he's never been to a doctor ever. Nothing. Like, and he's been sick. He just had 103-degree fever this last weekend, and
Yeah.
people will be like, 103. Well, what do the doctors tell you? Take them in, get them antibiotics. What's that do? Fucks them all up big
Mm.
time.
Kills their gut
Antibiotics
bacteria.
are like one of the most evil things that kids should not be getting. And
Yep.
it's like Tylenol, horrible for the fucking kid.
Yep.
Instead, we forgot the ways that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years they did. And it's
Yep.
like on purpose, Rockefeller removed it. Of course, it comes back to Rockefeller. He removed it. Like just natural shit like elderberry tea, hydration, salt, magnesium, vitamin D, zinc.
Dude.
Dude, that's it. You just need a Z pack. We call it in the military. So it's like we have that in the military. Well, that's all our little kids need. Put them out in the sunlight a little bit. Get them some real regular vitamin D. Put their
Yep.
feet in the grass. Like it's my one son had 104-degree fever 3 months ago for 4 days. Were we
Hmm.
scared? 100%. As a parent, that's part of the fucking game. Part of
Yep.
the game is knowing you love them so much that when they're hurt, it hurts you. But that's when you have to show the fuck up. That's when you're the warrior. That's when you get to be tested. God says he's going to test us all the time. And that's one of our tests when you're raising these beautiful God made creatures. Like they are so amazing. Look at how we've turned out. We're having amazing conversations and we're still learning and we still don't know who the fuck we are. And we're still, like there's so much. So there's a lot. So why are we poisoning the kids right at birth? Why are
Yep.
we separating them? Why are we putting them in daycare? Why, like, it's been an attack, attack, attack. That now, yeah, I think you're right. What you're saying is that some people have gone so far and they're so brainwashed that that's where the term NPC comes in, non-playable character, because it becomes like your head's in the fucking sand and your body's just walking on its own, and it's
Dude.
going through the same rhythm, same path every fucking day. And so if you were taught it's okay to hit, then you're going to justify that every single way, just the same as you think if it's all right to dress your kid up as a drag fucking queen, but
Yeah.
you're gonna think that's right every single way, which is so fucking crazy. Like, what
Mhm.
kind of world gets to that point? I just saw a reel on that this morning. I was like, I can't even watch it. I just turn it off because it makes me want to kill a motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
you don't deserve to have kids, and you don't deserve to have a life. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We've got to that point where, like, now you're going against God. You are doing Satan's work. And if
Mm.
you're doing Satan's work, well, guess what? On this house, we spit on the devil because God's on our side, and you ain't gonna fuck with us because that's
Yeah.
the thing is like too many people are walking on Satan's path, and those are usually the NPCs. Unfortunately, they're the ones who aren't really living because they're not
Yeah.
connected to Christ consciousness or the love energy that we were talking about that most religions are based off of.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I want to hit back on what you said about the 104 fever too. Is a lot of people freak out about that because they're like, well, that's where brain damage starts. And I'm like, hold
I
on,
know.
come back. Your body does that. A lot of like what we need to know, and you can look this up, but a lot of times that comes from fevers that are induced chemically. Like if your body does it on its own, you're safe. Like that's been the thing that I've seen over and over again is that like we don't do that either. I'm like, there's a fever, it's killing something inside. Let it ride. You know, that's that's what yeah, it's scary, but at the same time, this stuff you've been taught, they're like, oh, well, it gets too high, it's gonna like it'll cook the brain. I'm like, well, the body's not gonna do that to itself because it's a survival mechanism. So it's gonna survive by raising the temperature, but not cook itself. So that's not something you really have to be worried about. Obviously, look that up and you'll find that that's the case. The other side of that you're talking about is like I think that the number one thing is that an NPC can actually become in the real world, an NPC can become an actual player in the game. Like you
Yes.
can wake up, and if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, yeah, I didn't like I've always thought like what Jack just said. Oh, well, I always thought, yeah, you spank your kids. Dude, I grew up in that. And my dad would tell me, oh, I did like three fingers and whatever, dude. I remember sticking my tongue out at my dad and him calling me in and smacking my naked ass, like bam, like I remember it like it was yesterday. But I was, I'm like an 8-year-old and I got in big trouble for it. I was afraid, right? But guess what? I don't really have that great of a relationship with my father at this point. And maybe, just maybe, I don't want that. And so if I correlate those two and I'm like, hey, I'm going to wake up and try something different, maybe I just would rather have a better relationship with my children. And
Mm.
and maybe I saw this thing my wife sent me today, and it was like, oh, it was like it's his dad and the son, and it's like this is the relationship he always wanted. Only in this instance, he's the dad. And that's how it works. It's like we didn't get to have these perfect relationships with our fathers or whatever. So we're creating those relationships with these ones so that they live a different life. And so an NPC can, in fact, wake up and become an actual character in the game. Like, I guess that's where we're at. We're like trying to wake up as many of those as possible. Like, dude, get off that path and get on the narrow path that's more difficult because it ends up being better.
Yeah, bro, I agree. I mean, if we look at our lives, we were probably NPCs. I mean, I was fucking programmed all the fucking way, believing that. Like I was talking about with the dog, I was smacking puppies and shit because that's what I was taught. I
Yeah.
thought hitting kids was right. And this is all the way up into my 40s where I was like, and I already didn't believe like narratives like 9/11. Like I was kind of awake to that because I just could see the truth. But I was still kind of like going to work. I thought the grind was right. Like I need to work 12 hours a day for the US Army and make PowerPoints and present them and do this and that. And then I woke up, I was like, dude, what am I doing in my life?
Yeah.
What am I doing in my life? Like this is not how I'm supposed to live. This is not right. And that woke up with COVID. I mean, a lot of people woke up with COVID, and it was just like, what the fuck? They just attacked us in the biggest way, and so many people said, okay. They laid down, went
Gladly.
complacent, and that's when I was like, fuck, I need to start waking people up. And that's when I started getting in trouble by the military and got removed by the military. And I had to go see generals all the time because I would post about it. And I just think that that's where we're at now. It's either you're speaking up and speaking out, or you're now becoming complacent. And I don't see another way out of this without us all waking up or moving to fucking communities that I always talk about, the
Yeah.
sovereign community that like you have your own plants, you have your own fucking functioning community where it's the, you know, barter system and you go back to the old days. Like it makes no sense. Money makes no sense. None of it makes sense anymore. How can
Yeah.
a country be in 12 trillion, $20 trillion debt and they keep sending billions to that country in the Middle East that we can't speak about. Like I don't
Bro.
get where this is all fucking going. Where's the end game for politics, governments, and countries? It makes no fucking sense. And then when
Yeah.
you come to like the South and Latin America, and you're like, oh, this makes sense. Family first, old people first, kids first. Okay, slow the fuck down and be present with your kids. And I'm not saying that Mexicans are the best dads because they're
Sure.
grinding their asses off too and they're working really hard and Mexicans drink a ton of alcohol, maybe more than the states and more Coca-Cola too. There's just no reason they're drinking Coca-Colas all day. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying they love their kids. Those still they're not beating up their kids. The drunks that are in America, that we grew up with, were beating their kids. Like if I got beat, and the drunks here but still they love their kids. They pick them up and hug them and hold them and they smile at them and they, like there's just something a little different even with the drunks. Like you're
Yeah.
watching that and you're like,
Huh.
dude, like if my
You
drunk ass
drunk ass.
dad could have just held me a few more times, I probably wouldn't have had some turbulence throughout my entire 20s.
This wouldn't be being a father would be so damn hard now.
Oh shit.
I it's crazy because the thing that I keep coming back to this, and I'll probably start pushing towards this, but I found, and it's what you're doing as well. Like every guy that I'm talking to, the more guys that I talk to that are awake, the more they want to be sovereign, the more they're like, I got to step out of this matrix. I can't be in it. And the hardest part about that is when you look at the world the way it is, you there are some things that are necessary cogs in the world that we live in. However, if we all just go, and I think that the response is going to be, yeah, we can't all just do that. But if we all just go, nah, you know what? I'm gonna pull out. I'm out, and I'm gonna find this place or find this community that we can live like this. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, the only way out is to literally just be like, all of us go, we're not participating anymore.
That's
Because
it.
I'm with you. You know, you like you have the more you learn, the more you're like, everything's killing me. Like I went out, was it last night? It was either last night or this morning. I walk out and I look up and I'm like, there's fucking chemtrails over my house. And I'm like, God damn it. Like you're poisoning my air. You poison our food, you poison you poison our the ground. What? You can't escape it unless you can't escape them killing you unless you actually just step out and decide that you're not going to participate anymore. And I think
Yeah.
that's the hard part is the more you awaken as a father, the more you want to be sovereign, and the more you realize you have to figure out how to step out of it, or or you're just going to continue the process, and your children are going to fight the same demons because you didn't kill them.
Yeah. I agree 100%, bro. And I just want to say, as my final word, you never heard the statement retard maxing? We're to the point of that. Retard maxing means not looking further into it, not waiting for the perfect time, not waiting until you have enough money. It's fucking going. It's action. Retard maxing.
Mm.
It's like this new word that's out there. And so that's kind of what people would say I am. I am to the max, retard maxing. I take my family and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out of the system. And I
Yeah.
move and I try things. I went to Costa Rica. I got an RV. I toured around, went back to Georgia, went to Mexico. Now we're moving to our third state in Mexico in 2.5 years. Like that's retard maxing. We are not afraid to take action. We all
Mm.
need to get to that point. I'm sorry, but that's where it's at now. It's action. If it's speaking out, if that's growing your own garden, if it's choosing a new path for your kids and your family, it has to happen now, and you need to take action now.
Yeah.
Today is the only day we have to be present with them, to be intentional, and change the patterns that were given to us that were wrong. Final word. Over to you.
Oh, dude, that's a mic drop. I really, I love all of that. I think that you're spot on, and this is a great day for us to do this because it's like I've been saying like, oh, this is Nate 46.0. Like people are like, oh, it's Nate 2.0 or whatever. I'm like, no, this is the 46th time I get to sit and rebirth. And so today is for us, it's our birthday. I know it's 45 for you, so I'm on the other side, headed towards 50. You're not there yet. It's fine, but I think that's the thing is being able to take time and reflect on what have I done to grow? How have I changed? How can I live in a way that's better and different? And dude, I love that. I love that Instagram brought us together, right? Like, I mean, I've never sat in a room with you, but like that's two of my best friends in the world I've never been in the same room with, which is hilarious to me. But you guys, you and Rob Bill, you guys make me want to be better because of watching you live and listening to what you're talking about, knowing that you're learning and striving to become the best that you are makes me want to do the same thing. It makes me want to push myself. And at 46 today, I go, yeah, well, this is the next version of me. What will it be this year? More learning, more growing. And when you do that, you not only change who you are, you change the entire legacy you leave behind. And I think that is what we're looking for.
Mic drop, bro. That was great. Guys, thank you for being here. Peace out. Become better today because you don't
Yeah.
get tomorrow for sure.